what if I told you a single promise could literally change the fate of the entire universe? Well, today we're going to dive into an incredible story from the Sutra of Compassionate Flowers. It's all about a vow that was so radical, so intensely compassionate, that the cosmos itself actually trembled when it was spoken.
So let me ask you this. What's the single most selfless promise a person could ever make? I mean, really think about it. What would that even sound like? Well, believe it or not, an ancient text gives us a candidate for the most profound vow ever uttered. A promise that was born from watching a world drowning in suffering.
Okay, so to really get why this promise is such a big deal, you have to understand the world it was made for. See, this story doesn't start with some grand hero. No, it starts with a world that was absolutely crying out for one.
The text calls this era a time of 5 turbidities. Now that might sound a little academic, but what it really means is that the world was plagued by 5 deep-seated kinds of corruption that poisoned everything. We're talking about a world where suffering wasn't just something that happened sometimes, it was the very air people breathed. It was just this thick fog of conflict, confusion, and despair.
And the text doesn't just leave it at that. It gets super specific about what was wrong. This wasn't some vague, shadowy evil. It paints this vivid picture of beings totally trapped. They were mired in conflict. Their minds were just overcome with greed and stinginess. Their hearts were lost to anger and jealousy. You get the picture. They were basically consumed by ignorance and burning with desire. It's this vicious, relentless cycle of suffering that just keeps feeding itself.
So, right into the middle of this broken world steps our protagonist, a bodhisattva named Bao Hai Fanzi. And the key thing here is that he doesn't just see all this suffering from a distance, like watching it on the news. No, he really sees it. He feels it, and he makes a conscious, deliberate, and truly world-altering choice to do something about it.
And this right here, this brings us to the absolute heart of the story. This is the moment. It's when this bodhisattva makes his extraordinary promise, a vow fueled by a level of compassion that is almost impossible for us to even wrap our heads around.
And you have to hear who he makes this promise for. He starts by focusing not on the good people, not the righteous ones. No, he focuses on those who have committed the 5 grave offenses. We're talking the absolute worst sins imaginable. He chooses to save the people who are destined for the most horrific hell, the souls that literally everyone else had given up on.
And then, here it is, the core of the vow. He doesn't just say he'll teach them a better way or guide them. He vows to take their place, to literally suffer in their stead. In the Avicii hell, a place of non-stop, unimaginable agony, all so that they can be free. I mean, that is the ultimate act of taking someone's suffering onto yourself.
And you know what? The universe heard him. The text says that the second this vow was spoken, the entire cosmos trembled. The earth itself shook in 6 different ways. This wasn't some quiet promise whispered to himself. This was a cosmic event, something that sent shockwaves through the very fabric of reality.
And the reaction wasn't just physical, not by a long shot. We're talking a who's who of the cosmos chiming in. Manjusri, the literal embodiment of wisdom, praised his incredible insight. Samantabhadra, who represents action, praised his unwavering commitment. And Avalokiteshvara, the embodiment of pure compassion, he praised his boundless love. It was so huge that Buddhas from countless other worlds actually sent messengers just to witness this thing. That's how big of a deal it was.
All right, so this incredible vow has been made. The cosmos is still ringing from it. But how does that power actually work? How does it manifest in the world? Well, the answer lies in the teachings that came from it. This idea of a single sermon that could hold a cure for every single problem you could possibly imagine.
And the method is just so elegant, so direct. Take someone with a murderous heart, right? The cure isn't punishment. It's teaching them to cultivate the exact opposite, a heart full of genuine compassion. It's like a perfectly formulated medicine designed specifically for that sickness.
And this same logic applies to all the other mental poisons. For somebody who's just consumed by being stingy and jealous, the cure isn't just to stop it. No, it's to actively learn how to feel joy in the good fortune of other people. Think about that. That is a total radical shift in how you see the world.
Or what about a mind that's just ablaze with lust and desire? Well, the teaching offers a very specific, direct meditative practice for that. Contemplating impurity and impermanence. It's not just a nice idea. It's a practical, psychological tool you can actually use to cool those fires by seeing things for what they really are. So, the sutra uses this number, 84,000, to describe all these different remedies for all these different afflictions. Now, that number isn't meant to be literal. It's a way of saying a complete and total amount. The message is crystal clear. From the power of this single, massive vow, a teaching would emerge that had a specific, tailored cure for every single problem the mind could ever cook up.
But the Bodhisattva's plan went even further than that. I mean, it was incredibly far-reaching. He thought about what would happen long, long after he, as a Buddha, had passed on. How could the power of this vow keep working in a world where maybe the teachings themselves had been forgotten?
So, the text actually predicts a timeline. First, you get 1,000 years where the true Dharma, the real teachings, are strong. Then you get another 500 years where there's only a semblance, like an echo of the real thing. But after that, the teachings fade completely. The light goes out. The world is plunged into darkness. So, what happens then?
And this, my friends, is where the true, mind-blowing power of the vow is revealed. Because even for this darkest of dark ages, the compassionate plan had a backup, a contingency. It was designed to make sure that no one would ever be truly left behind.
So get this. The vow's power keeps working in this totally miraculous way. The story goes that in these dark times of war, famine, and plague, the Buddhist physical relics, they transform. They become what's called a luminous jewel. This jewel then rises up into the heavens, and it rains down flowers and treasures, and its light and sound actually reawaken the goodness in people's hearts. It's like a physical manifestation of compassion, still working its magic in a world that's completely forgotten it.
And here's the ultimate legacy. The sutra says that this one single immense promise became the seed of enlightenment for countless other beings. Think about it. All the future Buddhas to come, they would hear this story, and that would be the thing that inspires them to start their own journey. It's a single act of compassion that creates a ripple effect that just echoes through all of time.
You know, it's one thing to make a promise. It's a whole other thing for that promise to shake the very foundations of the earth, to inspire the wisest beings in the cosmos, and to continue working miracles thousands of years down the line. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What is the real power of a truly selfless intention? How can a single, heartfelt vow continue to echo not just for a lifetime, but for millennia?